So, yesterday, the upcoming Splatoon-looking action multiplayer game Ninjala had an open beta test on Nintendo Switch, and damn, this thing was... It was honestly, it was a disaster. People fighting for hours trying to get in as the servers were constantly crashing. The devs would keep extending the hours only for people to keep trying and failing to get in. Myself, I was only able to play one single game, again with hours of trying. Pretty bad. So that's what I want to talk about today. Now, to start off, the point of betas is of course to test things. Yes, people shouldn't expect things to go swimmingly during a beta, but I also don't think it's too much to expect things to work just a little bit. Like I said, I was only able to get one match in, and this was as soon as the game went live for the first time. Many others who weren't that quick were trying just as long and got nothing. With how bad this went, it seems to me they clearly were not ready for this type of testing. Remember, they went with like the most heavy test type you can. It was an open beta, meaning anyone could download the game and play, and they also restricted the time period people could play to short 1-hour windows, which means as well as having as many people who want to play being able to come in, you're having all of them swarm the servers during that same small time frame. This is like a final stage of testing when you really want to brutalize the servers, and again, it simply wasn't ready for this. Not even close. So for this test, they should have done it like over a whole weekend, even just a 24-hour period at least. That way people would stagger in and out naturally, or if you did want this to be a 1-hour long time window, it should have been a closed beta with people signing up online or something and having it be invite only to keep the numbers to a point that you think you can handle right now. And you can still do this open, harsh stress test later, okay? But this does not feel like an instance where the limits of these servers were tested even at all before this heavy test, and that's stupid. Also, the stringing people along with the repeated like, oh, okay, this test starts now. Servers are down. We have emergency maintenance. Time extended. Oh, it's down again. You're just wasting more of people's time and making them more aggravated. Again, should have been clear immediately that this game wasn't ready for this, and it's not like you're going to magically fix the servers in a couple hours. Should have just let the time slots play out and say, yeah, that sucked and it's over until the next one, rather than keep having people try to spend more time getting on. My other big problem, and I mentioned this on Twitter, most games being 100% online only, I will never understand it unless it is like, I don't know, an MMO or something. Like, obviously, this is an online multiplayer game. You have to go online for matches. But, like, going into the hub, looking at your different weapons and customization items, accessing the training mode, which is just you and a single AI opponent, why can't that sort of stuff be done offline? Makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, it's in arenas like this where I honestly feel like games are sometimes moving backwards. A few years ago, I would never think there'd be a game where I couldn't do the training mode offline. Yet here we are. So yeah, for all the people who are just using, oh, it's a beta, bro, what do you expect? As a defense, there's plenty they could have done to improve this experience even just a little bit. But let's also talk about the game itself. What I was able to glean from it. Like I said at the top, it's very Splatoon looking and carries that over into the way you customize your character. You've got tons of cosmetics. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like your stat boosts are tied to the cosmetics, which I prefer. Rather, you have these cards that you equip on your character, and they each have like a point value, and there's a bar you fill up. So you can only use so many points total. Obviously, more powerful cards will cost more points. In terms of actual gameplay, this does stray far from Splatoon in that the focus is on melee combat. There are longer ranged attacks and weapons, but mostly people are running around and hitting each other with swords, hammers, etc. You've got different special attacks as well as ultimates, some of which I think change with the different weapon types. Again, I only got to play one time with one weapon, so I'm not an expert. I know you can also, like, there's this bubble gum mechanic where as you progress through a match, you can blow bigger bubbles with it, and you can use that to create bigger versions of your weapons. Pretty cool. I know you can also swap like your ultimate ability out freely, so there's a lot of loadout customization. The combat is definitely fast and frantic. You can fight in the air, you can run along walls. being able to zoom around when you're doing combos on people. Your guy can even kind of Dragon Ball Z like teleport behind them and keep the combo going. And it can really be hard to target people, but I think that's kind of the point. I think this helps keep things from feeling just like a mindless button masher with players just running up to each other and smashing the attack button till one of them falls over. So I actually really like this. You can also be more stealthy and like make yourself look like an environmental object and lay in wait and gank people by surprise. I do want to say in that respect, the only game type in this beta that was offered was a free-for-all. I don't know what other type of modes there's going to be, and if this is going to be like the main type of play, but I feel like this game mode with this type of game might make it feel a bit too much like a gank box. With the melee focus, people are fighting right on top of each other, and it seems like you're going to have a lot of people, smart people at least, are just going to be looking to run around and pick off people while they're engaged with someone else. I think I'd be much more interested in playing this in a team battle environment with people trying to combo with different abilities and weapons. I think that would be more interesting. But at the end of the day, it's really hard for me to judge the game at all after playing literally one match. But I would definitely say I think there is potential here for a fun game experience. I was just saying in a video recently that I think the Switch definitely needs some more multiplayer offerings. This thematically fits in great with Nintendo's lineup. Everyone who's a Splatoon fan, I think, should probably check this out when they can. And do remember, this game is going to be free to play, so when it does drop, if you are interested in what you're seeing, there's no reason not to check it out, which most who tried today could not. And overall, this was hardly a good first impression. And you also have to look at this thing realistically, as we can debate the concept that, yes, this was a beta, it's expected to break, but they could have also done more to make it better. We can talk about that all we want, but most people, let's be honest, just don't care. This is their first impression of the game, whether you or the developers like it or not. And I don't think there is a way you could swing this as a positive. People sitting for hours trying to just play once, and many not even being able to do that. Not a good look. Now, I doubt many are going to be deterred from playing this game when it actually launches, like because of this, but that launch has to be way better than this, because if people already feel burnt by wasting their time with this beta test, and then the game launches and it's more of the same, they feel burnt, feel like they're wasting their time again, I think you're risking driving a ton of people away before things even really get a chance to get off the ground. And don't forget, this is still a game that's set to release in less than a month. There's plenty of time to get these server issues ironed out, but it's not like they have much time to screw around either. Going off of this test, they need an incredible amount of work for this thing to be ready for a real launch. And the whole defense of, oh, well, they're breaking it now so it doesn't break at release, goes right out the window if it's just more of the same. Again, what would even be the point of this beta test if we just get the same experience at launch? So I really hope they get it all sorted out by then. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the Ninjala open beta in the comments. Were you able to play the game at all? What was your experience like? And are you excited for this game's full release? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the Ninjala open beta. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter @JohnnyZakari and join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends. Link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.